if this works. Okay, can you guys hear me now on YouTube? We're probably okay on Instagram, but let me know if you can hear me now on YouTube. Thank you for letting me know there was no sound. Yes. Okay, good. All right, so we're back in business. So we were talking about having the answers, accessing the answers. So it's not about having all the answers. It's knowing how to access the answers. So basically, it's knowing how to access the information from universe, right? It's knowing how to access the information that lives there for everybody always. And when we are able to access that information on a regular basis, we realize that there are no questions that go unanswered. So, for anyone that's new, the way I've always taught is not through regurgitating information that is already out there or that I've read, but I teach through spirit guided information, which can be similar to information out there, but I don't teach it unless I have received it myself, right? Because there's so much information out there. There's no point in me teaching what you all already know or can find. More importantly, I'm not good at regurgitating information, memorizing and remembering. And so, but really that stemmed from at a very young age, not having the desire to read books and study, if you will, spirituality, because I was already accessing the information. And that's not unique to me. That's something everyone has access to. And so that's what we're going to talk about tonight, is we're going to talk about how we can all access the information and how we want to change our mindset from I don't have the answers, or where do I get the answers, to I have access to all the answers. What does that look like for me in getting those answers to my questions? And so, of course, that will always come down to meditation, because meditation is your connection to spirit. Meditation is your connection to the universe, to God, to whomever you want to refer to it as. It's all the same, right? And so the reason why meditation is that connection, it's the main connection, is because this is at a time where we allow the mind to not lead us and control us. The mind plays an aspect, but it isn't the controlling aspect. The mind, when in meditation, is stilled just enough so that it is working in conjunction with the heart and the gut. And so we have this synergy happening, and our guidance starts to move through us, and the brain isn't stopping that information. Now, important to understand that just because we are seeking answers to questions, it doesn't mean it's necessarily going to come during the meditation itself. More than likely, that information will come at a different time. It'll come through a dream. It'll come through sometimes even something you watch on TV, or it'll come through a friend, or some random stranger will say something. The information will come to you in some way. Sometimes it does come through meditation, for sure, but I want you to be aware that it doesn't always. So don't feel like, if I don't get it at this time, it's not coming. That's not true. Also, keep in mind, when we're looking for guidance, when we're looking for answers to questions, timing is not something we have control over. So the timing of when that information comes through, how it comes through, that's how we're co-creators with spirit, because that's spirit's role, not yours. There's only so much that we co-create, right? And so we want to make sure that we're aware of that timing, and that isn't in our control. So now, when we put all these pieces together, we have our daily meditation practice. We keep a notebook next to us during our practice, because sometimes that information will come. We want to be able to write it down. We're exercising to keep the physical body strong and healthy, so that it can maintain and manage and hold the information when it comes through. We're in therapy when we need it, so that we are emotionally balanced, and we are emotionally clear and can manage this information. Our diet is healthy and clean, and moving towards a plant-based diet, so that the body isn't holding, because food, different types of foods will hold energy, and we want our energy to run clearly, right? We're in yoga once or twice or 3 times a week, so that memory that's stored in the body is being released on a regular basis. So pain, suffering, anger, all of that is released through yoga. So all of this is a lot, and we do all of it in baby steps, and we do all of it when we can, and eventually the body will crave all of these things and will find the time. I say that in quotes because I have noticed with my experience and with my practice that the time actually does show itself. In a world where you may be saying, I don't have the time, I don't have the time actually does start to present itself. And what does that look like? That's my husband getting water, FYI. Don't want it to sound like I'm next to the bathroom. So when we are talking about doing things in small baby steps, that's because if we make too many changes all at once, that's where we start to push back, we repel, we become depressed, we become overwhelmed, right? We do these changes in baby steps, and what happens is you start to condition yourself to crave the balance and the change that comes with it. And next thing you know, you're gently craving and choosing healthier foods, physical exercise over maybe staying out late. You're sleeping better, and that's allowing you to get up a little bit earlier to do your meditation practice. And so just out of nowhere, things start to unwind, and all of a sudden there is time to accomplish all of these things, because all of these things don't have to be done on a large scale, right? Ultimately, what we're doing is retraining ourselves to lean into balance and conditioning, to that being our default, to our default being choosing balance, our default being choosing peace, choosing health. Like that's our first, like everything else kind of plays second, right? So it's like, what do I need to do to make sure that I get this in? And like you're doing this more subconsciously than consciously, right? Because sometimes when we do it consciously, it becomes really heavy and a burden and a lot. But when we start to do it subconsciously, we're just changing up things, and little changes here and there, a lot to more time in the morning or night or whatever it is that you're needing. Okay. Any questions about that? If not, we're going to move on to our guided meditation. If you are new to meditation, if you're, I'm sorry, I was reading a comment. If you're new to meditation, remember this is all about relaxing the physical body. So make sure you're comfortable. Make sure that don't feel like you need to sit up straight, lean back on something, lay down, do what you need to do so you feel good, because we want to release as much tension through the physical body as possible, not create more. Okay. So wherever you're at, close your eyes, 3 releasing breaths, which means a deep inhale through the nose, exhale, we blow that air out. Here we go. All right, keeping the eyes closed. Couple disclaimers before we start. I do have dogs. If they bark, just stay in your quiet space. If you're on Instagram and you freeze up or you get cut off, I am on YouTube also. Feel free to jump over. All right, I want you just to slow down the breath, okay? Noticing the breath. For some of us, we want to gently slow it down. And for some of us, we may notice it's very shallow. So I want you to deepen the breath. So we're just noticing if our breath is shallow, if our breath is quick, Wherever you're at, I want you to just add a little bit of depth. Just add a little bit of slowing it down if you need it. Just becoming aware of the breath. And next thing I want you to do is become aware of the belly. And I want you to let that belly out. Okay? Don't hold it in. Don't tighten it. You probably don't even realize that you are. So really let the breath move with the belly, which means that belly is going to expand big on the inhale and release on the exhale. And just allow that belly to be flexible, pliable, feeling the belly moving, releasing, relaxing. Pull the shoulders away from the ears. Wiggle the fingers and the toes to make sure they're not clenched, but simply relaxed. Allow the jaw to open maybe a little bit to release any tension. Release the cheekbones. Make sure the eyes are not squeezed tight, but they're just gently closed. Relaxing the arms and the thighs and the calves. Just allowing the body to sink deeper, deeper, deeper. Allowing the mind to wander, that's normal. We don't want to stop the mind from being the mind. We want to learn how to allow it to coexist with us, but we determine when the mind will lead and when the mind will blend with the heart and the belly. So doing your best to allow the memories to come up, we don't engage, we don't detach. Allowing the mind to speak and do whatever it wants to do, we do our best to not engage or react or respond. It's something that we learn with time and with practice. If emotions come up, allow them. Feel those emotions. Allow yourself to experience the spectrum of the emotional body. And as you experience those emotions, you allow yourself to also release them and come back to center. Come back to my voice. Come back to the space. And you allow the body to grow heavy, to sink a little bit deeper. If the body wants to move, maybe move it. And then eventually you may find that you don't need to indulge the body. The body doesn't need to be indulged. It doesn't need to have reaction and itching and moving. But for now, allow yourself to respond to whatever you feel you need to respond to. This is a safe space where you no longer need to set rules, boundaries, where you don't need to look out for anyone else or for yourself. You can allow yourself to be completely at ease and safe. You can allow yourself to sink deep into the center of the earth, knowing that Mother Earth holds you, hears you, supports you, even when you have made the mistakes, even when you feel you have done something wrong. You are still supported. You are still held. You are still guided. Allowing the sit bones to sink deep, deep, deep into the center of the earth. And then feel as if they lock in, holding you. As if you just locked in an anchor to the center of the earth. And you feel that you are grounded, protected, solid. You can trust where you're at right now. And just breathe here for a moment quietly, allowing the breath to move. Now I want you to exhale all the air out wherever you're at. Do a nice big exhale. And let's do some breath together. So we inhale through the nose for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1. Gently hold the breath, but relax the body. Exhale through the lips for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath out, but relax the body. Inhale through the nose for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath, but relax the body. Exhale through the lips for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath, but relax the body. Inhale through the nose for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath, but relax the body. Exhale through the lips for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath out, learning how to hold the tension, but allow the physical to be at ease, trusting the tension is teaching us, guiding us, there for a reason, and relax the breath. Allow the breath to move at its own pace. Allow your breath to move gently, deeply. Hear it, feel it. Knowing that the breath is a form of clearing, connection. Find that exhale and sink deeper into the breath. Just allow yourself for a few moments to get lost in the silence, lost in the depth of the breath, lost in the relaxation of the belly. What is it that you need to know? Ask right now. Ask, what is it that you need to know? Ask right now. And wait as the information will move through you, whether it's now or at a different time. Trust. We have to learn to trust. All is in divine order, even at the most painful times. Can you connect with the divine order regularly so you can learn to trust it? Placing the right hand on the belly and the left hand on the heart. Taking a few moments here, just allowing the breath. Really allowing that belly to expand big. Really allowing the breath and the belly to move together, feeling the belly move under your hand, feeling the chest rise, allowing yourself to sink deeper into the softness of the earth. Knowing that your practice is where you go to feel safe. It's where you allow yourself to feel vulnerable. Trust. And eventually this will lead your day. And this faith and trust and vulnerability and intuition will be a part of every moment of every day. because the vulnerability allows you to connect to spirit and to guide you, yet be grounded. The intuition leads you, but the mind supports this. One minute of silence. I'll call you when we're done. All right. Without too much movement, just open your eyes. Just become comfortable with the space around you. Allow yourself to feel this safety, this peace, this calm with the eyes open, learning how to blend being awake with this balance and peace. Just take your time. Maybe you stay here for a while before you move too much. Any questions? You want to share your practice? You want to share your experience? Let me grab my cards. I want to pull a few cards for us. Okay. Patricia, you feel a lot more at peace. Thank you for sharing. I'm glad to hear that. It's nice to see you. Oh, let's see. What is it that we need to know? What is it that we want to know? Remember that intuition comes in nudges. It's gentle, it's quiet, it's not loud. And that's sometimes how we can know the difference between our emotions and our intuition, because emotions in the mind are loud, right? But intuition is quiet nudges. I was feeling heavy today. I was overthinking and overwhelmed. After the meditation, I feel relaxed. Thank you for sharing. So glad to hear that. Very grounded and peaceful. Good. Thank you for sharing. Let's talk a little bit about sensitivity. This is one of the cards that came up. Sensitivity, for a lot of us, and for me when I was younger, what is perceived and was perceived as a bad thing, as something that is detrimental, that can hold us back, that can get in the way, that can be draining. And that's actually not true. What is true is that when we are not taking care of ourselves with those 5 steps to consciousness, daily meditation, yoga, healthy diet, exercise, therapy when we need it, we become overwhelmed, we become drained, we allow others to drain us, right? But when we are taking care of and filling the cup every day to its max and overflowing, that sensitivity, that intuitive sense, that feeling others, that deep empathy is a tool. It's a it's something that helps us understand someone's perspective, especially people that we may not get along with, or we have struggle with relationship, right? That can be like a power tool for us if we are taking care of all of this, right? With those 5 steps. Otherwise, that sensitivity is felt as a burden. And for me, for many years, I felt that it was a burden. I was very resentful for it and angry about it until I realized that I genuinely didn't know how to take care of me with those 5 steps to consciousness daily. And that's when everything changed for me. Patricia is saying that my granddaughter was asleep while I was meditating. As I held her, I felt her energy merge. Wow. I have a deep connection with her since I first held her as a first-time grandma. Wow. That is so amazing. Thank you for sharing that. So yeah, good. That's a good place to stop for sensitivity. So Patricia, actually, that's a great example of feeling that intuitive connection. And with a baby, it's easy to see it as this is where we're going with this. So Patricia's point, how she felt her energy with the baby, how she felt that connection. It's a baby, right? Or like if it's a baby or an animal, we love it and we want that connection and we want more of it. But when it's an adult who we don't like, all of a sudden we're like, I'm feeling their energy. It's draining me. What's happening, right? But Patricia, that was a perfect example of allowing that energy exchange, but knowing that that energy exchange is happening with everybody all the time. And so a baby's innocence is what feeds us because they're so close and connected to spirit. Same with animals. That innocence is what we hunger for. But when we have a grown adult who maybe isn't very conscious and like basically a 10-year-old in an adult's body, all of a sudden we become drained, we become frustrated, we have all those feelings, right? But if our cup is full and overflowing because of those 5 steps, we see that. We also see how the energy connects, just the way Patricia explained how it was connecting with her granddaughter, and we understand what to do with it. Okay. And all of this happens intuitively, subtly, and we'll miss cues for sure. And that's okay. And we'll learn them for the next time. Visualize. So for some of you, I feel like this card is really about you getting better at seeing what it is, seeing where it is you want your life to be, seeing what it is that you want life to look like for yourself. And not just writing it down, but genuinely being able to visualize it. And for me, when I talk about visualization for clients, I want you to go even deeper. You visualize it first, but then I want you to feel what it feels like in that space that you want to be in. Feel what that feels like. And so now you're taking that a level deeper to where you're embodying that. Okay. Well, this is an interesting one. Variance. That light shining, kind of annoying, right? Variance. Let me see what this is about for us. There it is. The space in between. So for a lot of us, we are stuck in our preferences here, what we want. Our presence is here, and we're stuck right in between. And when we're stuck in between our presence and our preference, this is where stress and anxiety and struggle comes in. We need to move ourselves into the present, even if the present is super uncomfortable, even if the present is very painful and difficult. We have to be present first. And when we can fully embody the present, then we can start to experience our preference. And so what that means is we jump over that middle space where we get stuck in and we spend time in the preference. So when we spend time in the preference, we're either doing that through visualization, meditation, and or whatever that preference is, we're doing it physically somehow. So if you're a singer and you want your life to be all about singing and doing that for a living, well, make sure you're singing, even if it's 20 minutes every day, or you're performing on a small scale every day. You're doing not performing every day, but like once a week, right? You're doing something physically to get yourself to your preference. And so you're choosing when you're living in your presence and when you're living in your preference to avoid being in that middle, because when we're stuck in that middle, nothing's happening, nothing's changing, nothing is moving. And that's where anxiety and frustration and sadness and all of that comes in. So when we can recognize we don't want to be in that middle space, we want to be in the preference or the present, we're good. Being present is really the hardest part, right? It's kind of stuff for probably most of us. It's easier to be in our preference because that's where we want to be. But that can be an escape from the present, where if the present is hard for you, you got to get in it so you could figure out how to get out of it. You can't get out of the present if you aren't letting yourself be in it, because it's too painful or whatever that is. So get in it, feel the pain, feel the struggle, and then get in that meditation, get exercising, get eating right, get into therapy or journaling, get into yoga, so you can find those nudges to get you out of the painful or difficult spot you're in. This way you're fully present or you're fully in your preference. We're not in the middle. Ooh, good time. Good class tonight, you guys. Good work. Very good work. So at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so in about 54 minutes, I'll be back live on YouTube, Myth or Mystery Paranormal Show. It's really fun. We have a lot of fun, but we also analyze paranormal that happens that people catch on camera. But it's lighter, it's fun. And then I'll be back next Thursday at around this time, and we'll meditate some more. I will always repost these, so if you miss them, don't worry. If you have a suggestion of something you want to work on, please don't hesitate to reach out, or any questions about those 5 steps that I talk about, don't hesitate to reach out to DM me. I'll always help you out, okay? Good work tonight, you guys. I'll see some of you in just a little bit.